Action figure reboots. Sponsored by Pearson Art.
Hello, and welcome back. Today we're looking at Kenner's C3PO and R2D2, released in 1978 as part of Kenner's original lineup, and two new additions to the collection I'm putting together for my 1977 Star Wars set. So, with that being said, let's begin. We'll start with C3PO. I always thought this was a pretty good figure. That was never the problem with me. The problem that I always had with it is that I thought it was too good. He looked too nice. When you see him in most of the movie, he looks pretty banged up, pretty rough. Oil stains all over him. His lower right leg is silver, and he's kind of dingy. And this figure is too clean. He doesn't look like any of that. Now, I think a better use of this figure would have been if you made one from the Yavin ceremony. You know, the one where Chewbacca didn't get a medal. Poor Wookiee. Anyway, if you look at that scene, he's all polished and shined up in his Sunday best. I think this would have been a better one to use for that. It would have been a pretty good variant, just the same. Kenner was great at that during their Batman years. As a toy company, that's what you want to do. Use the same mold and different paint applications. So for this reboot, I think I'm going to strip off all this vacuum metal. For those of you who don't know what vacuum metal is, it's a process that makes plastic look like chrome. It was used mostly in model car kits. It was all the chrome pieces that they needed for the car, the grille, the bumper, the headlights, etc. But it only comes in silver, so 3PO had to be sprayed with a coat of transparent gold paint. They could have saved themselves a step and made this guy. There's another variant, another opportunity lost. I think if they were going to use the vacuum metal process, they might have been better off just doing the lower leg in the chrome and casting the figure in gold colored plastic, like they did with this carrying case. So that's basically what I'm going to do. But like I was saying, first you have to strip off the vacuum metal. It's not very hard. What I do is I put the figure in a jar and spray it with Easy Off oven cleaner, and it all just dissolves. This is how it looks once it all comes off. And you could really see all the detail that was kind of buried. For the body, I'm going to use this Vallejo gold paint. And for the leg, I'm going to use this chrome pen, which I think is as close as you're going to get to gold colored plastic and vacuum metal. But in addition, I'd like to add a couple more details. I saw this droid figure. This was actually a variant that they did do. That really didn't work. It was based on the cartoon droids. But what I liked about it was that they added eyes and they painted the midsection. So I'd like to do that. Not the white part, but just the eyes and the midsection. I'm going to do that in black. Okay, we got all the parts. Let's put it together and see what we got. All right, I like this. I like the way this came out. I'm very happy with it. I really like this a lot better than the vacuum metal. I think the addition of the eyes really brings out some more of the character, and the paint makes them look a little bit more rough, not so pristine. I like that the midsection is black too. I was actually going to paint some lines on there to represent wires, but then I was like, maybe not. And then I thought a water slide decal could work there, but I wasn't really crazy about that idea either. Kenner never did any of that stuff when they had the opportunity, so I wanted to keep it as close as possible, even though it was a different line. So I'm good with that. And lastly, he's got the silver leg, and I think that's an important detail. You can't forget that. So I guess that's all I can really say about this figure. There's not really much to go over. So now, why don't we move on to R2D2? This was a good figure. This is one of those brilliant in its simplicity kind of deals, because whoever designed this really was a genius. And this is an instance where the vacuum metal really does work. Even though in the movie his dome is stainless steel, the vacuum metal works perfect here. So between that, the sculpted legs, the wraparound sticker, genius. Truth be told, I really didn't know what to do with this figure. This video was going to be more of a reboot slash restoration kind of thing because I didn't really know what to do. In fact, I picked up this figure off of eBay because it was in such bad shape, and I thought restoring it would be a good thing. So that was my plan pretty much. And as you can see, it certainly needed it. But I only got as far as stripping off the vacuum metal from the dome when there was a change in plans. When I was trying to figure out how to do the Princess Leia figure, I picked this setup. I really just wanted it because I wanted to see if the dress would fit the Leia figure. I really had no use for the R2 figure, but it only came as a set, so I had to get them both. So after I ordered it, but before it was delivered, I wondered, could I use that dome? I knew I didn't want to use the body, but the dome was a different story. And as luck would have it, you could, but it needed some modifications. This is a 3D file for R2D2. It's a little bit different than the one I have, but I'm only using this as an example because the dome is the same. As you can see, there's a peg inside the dome that goes into that middle piece and into the body, and then gets screwed in from the bottom. So it's important to have that peg. What I ended up doing was sacrificing the dome I had. I pretty much broke it all up where I was only left with the peg. Once I had that, I was able to put this together. Because the dome was hollow, what I ended up doing was wrapping the peg with putty and putting it inside that. But before it dried, I put it into the body to make sure it lined up. Then once that was okay, then I just let it dry. It doesn't look very pretty, but it doesn't have to because you're never going to see it. There was another modification I had to make for this figure, and that was this piece. This is the piece that goes between the dome and the body. It holds the legs in. There's a little piece of plastic that sticks up on here so that when you swivel R2's head, it makes a clicking sound. It wouldn't work on this, so I just removed that. For the body, I did manage to get rid of a lot of this yellowing, but I ended up just painting it and going over it with a satin finish. I also picked up a replacement sticker. This isn't the one that I actually use. I just wanted to show this one to give you an example of how they're cut. They're all over eBay, and they come in all different colors. Okay, once again, we have all the parts. Let's put it together and see what we got. Wow, I'm really happy with the way this came out. You really do have a best of both world thing going here. The body from the 70s and the dome from the 90s really does make a killer combination. And best of all, the helmet still has the vacuum metal. And it still swivels. It doesn't make a click sound, but it still swivels. This might end up being my favorite, but we'll see. We still got a lot more to go. So these are the two new additions to my Star Wars collection. I really like the way these came out. I had a lot of fun doing them too. Well, I guess that about wraps it up for this episode. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment. I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, always remember and never forget, think outside the box.